Hey everyone, it's Calvin, also known as Omer, and this is the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I always forget to say the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Adventures, and this is my first ever playthrough of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Adventures. I love the beautiful street here. Like, again, I know that it's like, because it's just so beautifully painted, but it's so classic as well, man. It's so good. It's so nice to look at. I love the changing of the title screen, really. We today are going to be talking to Sherlock Sholmes, and we might as well go do that right away. I'm kind of nervous to talk to him just because we don't know what state he's going to be in, but I really enjoyed our time with him last time because, oh, this is what I wanted! Oh my god, they're doing it! Animated cutscenes to break up the gameplay. Oh my god, they're doing it! Just what I wanted. Remember I even said this? They should do this more.
Thank you.
Pawnbroker's there.
It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day.
Good day!
Thanks again.
Oh my god, this is beautiful. It's so beautiful. There's a pawnbroker's there. 221B.
This is it. The residence of Mr. Sherlock Sholmes.
It's actually very beautiful, isn't it? And I think like a lot of places in England still preserve the old style buildings that they had. We do it here in Ireland, like in like Kilkenny, like the county of Kilkenny. If you ever are there, one of the coolest things about it is, look how beautiful this is though, is that we preserve a lot of our original buildings. There's still like 16th century houses in the streets in Kilkenny, you know. 19th of February, 12:53 p.m. Sholmes Suite. Look how beautiful it is. Look at all this. There's like a slipper on the freaking mantelpiece as well, though. So this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. Holy hell. I'm trying to take a look around the room as well. There's a violin. There's some books piled up on top of each other to kind of, I guess, signifies that he's working hard. There's like some blueprints up there as well. There's like a whole magnifying glass thing up here as well. There's a seat here that looks pretty comfortable. Pretty crazy. Is it as described in the stories, Mr. Zato? Suzato-san? Oh, she's in heaven. Many, many famous cases have been solved here in this very room. Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. I've never read the stories, so it's hard to get quite as excited about it as she seems to be. The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down on an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism. Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruto? Oh, I suppose I can, yes. So if you don't mind. Oh god. I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please don't mind me. Ha. She's obsessed. Well, looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Excuse me, is anybody home? Oh, do we have a visitor? No way, is it? Oh, it's her, so she works with Sherlock Sholmes.
Hello. Is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes?
Hello. Wait, aren't you, the girl from the trial?
Oh, really? I'll go make some tea at once.
We kind of figured out that she had like the same glasses as Sholmes, or like the same style. I'm sure it's the same girl. Mrs. Otto, did you see the girl who was just here? Oh yes, isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on this case. The King of Bavaria? King Wilhelm Gostreich Sigismund von Ormstein, of course. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes for a moment, and look over there, at the girl.
The tea's brewed, and I have a freshly baked cake as well.
I love the music in this game.
Oh, it's you.
I knew it. Suzato-san recognized her too. Ah, there you are. Oh yeah, she caught Gina.
I'm taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to try one of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine.
So she probably invents all the little gadgets that's used. Like, remember that smoke machine he used to, like, find the fingerprints? She probably invents that. It's the girl that turned up at the end of Mr. McGilda's trial in the defendant's antechamber.
I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London.
Oh, yes, it was challenging.
Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know.
Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look that color? Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor.
Hooray, it's a winner. I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you've another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots of luck.
Did Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance?
Oh, you know Hurley, do you?
Hurley? 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 Mr. Sholmes to you, surely. Mr. Sholmes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to the Great Britain, you see.
Was he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand today, even though he's just returned from overseas.
Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, do you think? And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite?
Oh, silly me. I haven't introduced myself, have I? It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson.
Iris?
I'll live together with here together with Hurley.
Ah, Iris, is it? What a lovely name. What? What's the matter? No, wait. This can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson? What's the matter with... Oh, she's Wilson! Oh, so she's like the... What's the Sherlock Holmes and Watson. Yeah, so she's like the Watson. What's the matter, Susato-san? Why is she... Oh, maybe she's the daughter of Watson or Wilson as well. Why is she so flustered all of a sudden?
Yes, that's right. And what's your names?
Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruto, a lawyer from Japan.
Oh, sorry.
I'm Mr. Naruto's judicial assistant, Susato Mikutaba. It's wonderful to meet you.
Lovely, Susie and Runo.
Susie and Runo, yeah! Got it. Susie and Runo? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her. I don't know where to start. Well, we should start somewhere at least.
Yes, and so do I.
So we're gonna be able to converse with her. Let's see all the options we have. Converse. So we have Iris, Wilson, and your deductions just now. So let's start with Iris. We start from top to bottom as always. It was you that we ran into yesterday, was it, at the Old Bailey?
Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much.
Oh no, not at all. I'm sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming. Though at the time we did have a rather large gun pointed at us.
Like this?
Thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you? Oh yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade.
Oh, Ginny? Yeah, she's a professional pickpocket.
So we found out.
It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that.
Are you referring to the trial disrupting gun-like contraption?
Exactly. So I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct magnet.
No, that would kill Gina. We love Gina. This girl is dangerous.
Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that, so she could apologize to my trusty technician.
Sorry, your technician?
Hurley, of course, silly.
Hurley?
Yes, Herlock Sholmes. We live together here together.
I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting younger daughter.
Not likely.
What?
I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I?
I don't know, maybe. You Brits have some weird customs. By the way, if you're British, by the way, I hope I don't upset you guys with the kind of British jokes. I think you know, there's nothing against British people whatsoever, and I hope that doesn't come across as that. I'm just making some jokes. What is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes?
Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So the solution to share the cost with a partner, a roommate.
They were roommates. You're roommates? No, not like the way you and Cosmo were roommates, Ryunosuke, okay? I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you? I'm actually very interested to know as well. 10 at this last year. She does seem about 10. She does seem about 10. Well, what of your mother and father? I'm sorry if that joke there about the roommates thing seemed pretty inappropriate. I'm only thinking about it now. Like, I didn't really think of the context of it. I apologize for that it was a bit inappropriate. I think I was just thinking, like, you know, oh, like, because I was making the roommate joke before, so I was kind of like, hey, you know, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, probably a little bit inappropriate, and I didn't really think of the context around it. I'm not going to, like, cut it out, I suppose, because then it's just like, you know, I said it. I didn't mean that in that context, I guess. I didn't mean it to mean that way. So yeah, let's just, I apologize. They're not around. Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there. Oh yes, there's something I must ask you. Of course, go ahead, Susie. I'm a very great fan of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes and... Oh, you have a copy of the Rance magazine? Yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship. Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world. Your stories? Oh, my stories.
That's right. Hurley is always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me about them all. They really are quite fascinating. It'd be such a shame if I was the only one to ever hear them, don't you think? Goodness. Last night, he was telling me all about the new case he just solved on the steamship traveling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came.
So you are the author?
Yes, I'll let you on a secret if you like. I'm going to call this latest adventure the Speckled Band.
But that's what happened! The Speckled Band, that's certainly very familiar.
Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories here and there. This time, I had an idea of making the venomous snake be good cause of all the trouble.
Oh, so that's why we have a different story. Yeah. That kind of does happen with stories, right? Like, if you ever read Winston Churchill's book, like him dodging bullets, it's hilarious. Like he thinks he's Neo. That was Mr. Jones' first thought as well, actually.
Yes, and of course I know that Snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of this case exactly, but it's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think, don't you?
So, do you mean to say, are the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in the Rance magazine?
All written by me, yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter.
But all the stories I've ever read
are written by a doctor of medicine, John H. Wilson.
So Sada-san's getting more and more worked up. Yeah, of course, because, like, again, she, like, you believe things way more back then as well.
Oh, yes, that's me.
So it's an alias.
I mean, my name is really Wilson.
I think that's actually true for a lot of things. Like, no, it's very true. I don't think it's true. A lot of girl writers, women writers would have to, like, use alias of male names, of man names, in order to get published, because they wouldn't publish girls very often. And sometimes the publishers would work with them and change their name, which was always very interesting. But what about the Doctor of Medicine part?
That's all true too. I'm a doctor of medicine.
At 10 years old?
At 10 years old. Well, that's quite incredible. But Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Yes. I did alter the setting slightly for the story to be more compelling.
Oh.
Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow.
It does sound very strange, yes. It does, very strange.
I suppose it does, yes.
Look at the glass shattering in her mind. Poor Suzuda-san, she looks like her whole world has just fallen apart. Your deductions just now. About before.
Yes, what's on your mind, Runo? Do tell me.
How did you know that I was a lawyer and we just arrived in London, I mean?
Yes, oh, and that we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all that?
Oh, that's what you mean. Please tell us how you did it. Explain every detail.
Of course, I'd be delighted, although there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin.
Oh, that's really cool.
Iris Wilson, proud to present Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
Oh, what? She's doing a Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Oh, look at this background.
First of all, I already knew that you were a lawyer, Runo. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber.
She did, yeah. She did.
But you also said you only just arrived in London. How did you know that we'd already arrived in London? How did you know that? I observed a passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket. Oh. I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs.
Look at the stamp on her hand as well.
The stamp on your hand says Boogie Boogie. The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I? And then I noticed the red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. That wasn't there a few minutes ago. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet a suspect, weren't you? Earlier today. They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realise. And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So, that told me that even though you had only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGilded, the two you had already caused to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particular sad expression on your face, so I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative.
Really cool.
That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case.
She's better than Holmes. But how could you have known that the trial is tomorrow?
Well, having barely been home for a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It's obviously amused him. He told me that he caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling. A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been...
Yeah, our boy. Mr. Natsume.
Now, Runo has a fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man at Hurley Court. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case.
She's very good. She's very good. There's a little rabbit on her bag as well. It's nice.
There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the men's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley is always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He is silly. And that's all there is to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions.
Very good. Like, very, very good.
Well, was the winner? Were my deductions correct?
They were spot on. That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction. You even managed to get a certain something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery.
Oh well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that.
This is really very, very, very good news.
You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please?
Oh, here we go. The case of the Japanese man. Man, like, these environments are so good. Apparently this game came out in 2021, not 2022, or maybe, like, I don't know. I thought it was last year, but apparently it wasn't last year. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong? You guys can correct me. Well, I could look it up, but, like, you know, I'll give you guys a chance to correct me on something. Few of you like doing that. You can do that. You can go ahead. Correct me on that if you want. So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man, you were saying.
Yes. Hurley just arrived back in London after a sea voyage, but the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene.
Ah, the great detective is a popular man, it seems.
Apparently a woman was stabbed on a quiet street, somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking, stooped man run away from the scene.
A short, shifty-looking, stooped man. Mr. McGilded. Mr. Natsume, beyond any doubt. Soseki-san said that he didn't see anyone else on the street at all, but it seems there were witnesses after all.
Hurley used his great deductive powers to determine the man's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking, stooped man shivering in fear.
Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark that time. Of course it did. He's a great detective. Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it?
Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly. Hurley says that London is rife with crime. Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently.
Oh dear. I hadn't realized the situation was so dire.
That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying criminals in courts. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person.
That's terrible. I suppose it's the harsh reality of workings of the world's greatest justice system. I suppose it is, but in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Soseki-san. Neither do I. Like, it seems that they're just trying to, like, pin it on the first person they see. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative.
Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun.
Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guess, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well.
Well, I expect Hurley is still investigating the scene.
Oh, the case involving Mr. Natsumi, you mean?
Yes, Mr. Nuts. Hurley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there.
Iris, do you know where those lodgings are?
Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson when you were there?
Oh, Gregson, the best design in the history of video games? Yes, we know Inspector Gregson.
Oh, goody. In that case, give Greggy this for me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'd tell you what you want to know.
What is this? A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems. Iris' postcard, a card from Inspector Gregson with a message on the back from Iris. Oh, cool. So she's going to get us in there. It reads, tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Gosh, this will make the inspector help us, will it? Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try.
Good luck then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, The Speckled Band. I'll be making more special blends of tea. So come back again soon.
We'd be delighted. Thank you so much. This was actually very nice. Thank you so much, Iris. Well, Miss Naruto, it's back to the scene of the crime. Yeah, here she is, the adorable fist bump. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard at all. We headed back to the scene with Iris' curious note on one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. They're just transferring us there? Oh, that's the ending. Okay. I wanted to kind of explore the room a bit more. That's my bad for not really looking around it. I keep making that mistake, I think. Interesting place to put it to be continued, right? But I guess, like, you know, we don't always know how many parts are going to be in this. Just before we go on, I like to, like, reflect a little bit before we go on. I want to say that I think that for me, the first case was paced pretty badly. The second case was not paced very well either. The third case was impeccably paced. It was so good. It flew by in a flash, and it was the same length as the first trial and the first chapter, and it was like actually like around the same length as the second chapter as well. It was just like so well paced, and I don't think that the pacing of the second trial ruined it at all. The second case ruined it all. In fact, I actually enjoyed myself quite a bit, but I think, you know, it's okay to point out some of the flaws that a game might have as well. You know, like, I think I'm so used to as well playing games like Danganronpa, that, like, I get to a point with games that I'm kind of like, I don't know, like, I feel like those games are so well paced that I think I was just used to, like, a trial being a little bit different to that, which is fine. Like, not everything's gonna be the same. Not everything has to be the same. Not everything should be the same. Yeah. I like this trial so far as well. I like this case so far as well. I think the characters are fantastic. I think that's what really helps this game as well. The characters are so vibrant and the colors are so vibrant. The environments are so amazing. And every trial has a different environment as well. Again, Phoenix Wright was very good at doing that also, but since they were kind of 2D backgrounds, they were lovely backgrounds, they just weren't as detailed, and it's like almost like eye candy. It's like, oh my god, I'm getting to meet these new characters, but also I'm looking at this beautiful background at the same time. Like, look at this. It's awesome. It's awesome to look at. 19th of February, 2:38 p.m., Briar Road. It looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation. Perfect, so let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave for us. So let's converse. Oh no, we don't converse, we give him something, we present something. Here you go, I have something for you. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry to say I don't, I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gagabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? From her? From her ladyship? Her ladyship? She's 10, like, you know? Give that here, at once. Come on, hand it over, that's for me. Me saying she's 10, by the way, is me saying, like she's 10 and she already has this much, like, reverence from people. Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? Man, I want fish and chips so bad. I didn't get fish and chips yesterday, by the way. I ate lasagna and chips, which is just as good. But I still want fish and chips. And I probably could just make fish and chips, and I probably should. What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's, it's an appearance fee. That's what it is.
An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean...
That's right. For the Adventures of Herlock shows. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me every time.
Nice. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly.
Of course. Her using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still.
I'm sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you.
Never you mind, eh? So, what do you want to know, you know?
Sorry?
Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Going far away. What do you want to know?
Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsumi's lodgings.
Ah, that little knife-wielding, mustache Japanese fellow? He lives right at the old oval. It's just over there, look.
Oh.
On the first floor of that house and on the corner where the wreck of the bicycles popped up.
Is nearby indeed.
If I remember rightly, the landlord is Mr. John Garadeb. Right. Well, if you see her again, you make sure you give her your ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it, you tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes.
Don't worry, Inspector. We will.
Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship.
Long live her ladyship. Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left. Yes, so then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsumi's lodgings? Definitely.
I guess we're gonna go into the lodgings. Another new location has been added. This is much more like Phoenix Wright as well, like kind of moving between locations like this, but they kind of give an indication where we have to go more, oh my god, more intricately. I think it's very fancy, but like kind of the apron hanging on the cannon, the army kind of like badges, or what they call medals, kind of. Oh, there's a big gigantic cannon bullet. All this. It's really cool. It's really cool. It kind of gives a homely feel as well. 19th of February, Mr. Natsumi's lodgings. Who are you? May I help you?
Yes. Would this be the residence of Mr. John Garadeb?
Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling?
My name is Ryunosuke Naruto. I am, Mr. Naruto is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here? Oh. We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client.
Oh, she's excited.
One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garadeb.
Do you see that, Mrs. Sato? That was a real-life English maid.
Oh my god. I know, as I understand it, anyone standing in English society employs a number of household staff.
But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better.
It certainly feels like we really arrived now, doesn't it?
We only need to meet a butler, and experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment.
Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garadeb will see you now. This way.
Oh my god. Okay, let's examine this place a little bit. Like this freaking cannon!
That's a full-size cannon. What's it doing in here? Oh my. It's real. I thought it might be a replica.
That old thing? That's little more than a toy.
Sorry?
The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon about the house.
Really? It isn't overkill?
Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy.
Him stirring the tea with his pipe, by the way, is like, again, it's why these games and these game series know character details better than like most other series. And they do this all the time because, again, like when you're writing a character, when you're creating a character, if you come to me and like explain your character, like whenever my friends would like show me scripts for their shows that they wanted to create, or like stories they wanted to create, the way they would describe their characters to me was always like, Greg, he's a boy, who grew up in southeast London. His parents died when he was 4, and when he was 6, he joined a gang, and that's when he had his worst day ever, and that created who he was today. That stuff is, yeah, that you need that backstory, right? But also, what would Greg do if he won $1 million, you know? How does Greg eat his eggs? You know what I mean? How does Greg, if Greg goes to a nightclub, does he dance? Does he not dance? What does Greg do when he's at the cafe? How does he treat the waiter? If Greg was at school and he got detention, how would he react to the teacher giving him detention? Those little things, like someone using a pipe to stir their tea, it's a tiny thing, but like it shows like a little bit about the character, that tiny bit about the character, and those things are almost more important because because whenever you're with a friend, right, they can tell you their life story. But how interesting is it when you find out and how much you can get out of your friend when you see them say like when they're eating their eggs or something, they're eating their breakfast, and they wait and they put the eggs to the side and they eat the eggs last. You know, that little thing of like they like to savor things, they like to like be in control of their food. All this stuff. I know it sounds weird, but it just makes sense to me. It makes sense. Maybe it makes sense to you guys as well. The tiny things about a person are always going to be like just as important as the big things as well. And I think like the stirring of the tea is just something I noticed. I was like, oh, that's a really cool, nice touch. We saw it in other characters too, like, you know, Mr. McGill was playing with that coin constantly. Yeah, just little things.
Calvin, you overanalyze everything.
Well, I think you underanalyze everything, Jeff. Do you think there might be trouble brewing, Mr. Garadeb?
Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Dries them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well on the cannon there, Joan tells me, which is rather proves my point, I feel.
It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging from the head in shame. Cool, very cool. I want to take a look at this as well. That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it? It's clearly been well looked after, though.
That old thing? Not much better than rags, really.
Oh?
Well, that ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know. But I'm not one for dwelling on the past, me. Would have gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, it doesn't hurt to have the odd piece of memorabilia lying around, does it?
Oh, I see. Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. He's very much hoarding stuff as well. There's a candle on the floor also. That looks like a Medal of Honor and it's showcased on a very grand banner. Yes, it's displayed with some pride, I would say. Although it bothers me that it's not straight. It doesn't bother me, it's kind of cool.
What? That old thing? Sorry.
Sorry?
I should be glad to see the back of it, but the general would turn in his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's the best place for it. Keep the bally thing out of my way.
So it's just been polished to shine by accident, I suppose? There appears to be an inscription on the medal itself. Look. Let me see. It says, for distinguished participation. Sounds like a kind of honors even I could be in line for. In being a lawyer.
Well, one doesn't like to blow one's own trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge in military circles.
Look at that enormous screen. Must have been put there deliberately, surely. Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something. And don't call me Shirley. What could be behind it? I wonder. I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek. Maybe that's not Mrs. Otto. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Okay, I'm up for conversing now. I'm up for a bit of converse. Oh, we can't even converse. We have to examine him, I guess, first.
Good day to you. John Garadeb at your service.
Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruto. He's a defense lawyer.
Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of May 1, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings.
So he's a retired soldier.
It's a hell of a job getting up and downstairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much, so as you can imagine.
Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruto. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal.
Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a folderol, really. I wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let the good people see it properly.
Oh my god, look at this. Joan, fetch it. Dash it all, woman! Be careful.
Oh, dear me, I do beg your pardon, sir.
You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands.
I shall be more careful, sir.
So anyway, look at this duo. Wow, they need their own game. Gary, Deb, and Joan.
Living the quiet life now.
Yes, I see.
Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right?
Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us.
Only two, please, naturally, especially if it helps us to keep the peace with the Blighty. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, and I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were.
It's kind of like the opposite of what happened with us, even, like. Just like a kind of a parallel, almost.
Even had some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe?
Yes, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Could have been, didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, that. All that detective business.
Oh, but do you have a copy of Rance magazine here?
No,
Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak.
Oh, he's there? Yes, he's here.
It's a bally nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss, it's jolly unsettling.
About Mr. Natsume. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garadeb. Garade? Please do tell us.
Ah yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week.
Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently then.
I have two lodges most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. First floor became available a week ago, you see. Then
dash it all, Joan, do be careful.
Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion,
Go, tell us, Joan.
I thought he was a shady sort for the moment I set eyes on him.
Oh, why?
He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything.
We won't be calling this man as a witness, that's for sure. Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all?
Oh yes, indeed there was.
And she's dying to tell us. Oh, the shady lodger. Now he's the shady lodger. Had you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume?
Oh my word, yes. The man was shadier than an orchard.
Could you elaborate?
We'll take the man's room. We'll take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books it is, more than anyone could ever read. And he never so much as passed the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call.
He's new here. He just came to the country.
He just trots off that old bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire.
Man, like, this happens so often in modern times as well. When someone just wants to be by themselves and someone's a bit shy, they're seen as weird. They're seen as weirdos.
And the funny little man is up long past the time and everyone else in the house has gone to bed too.
Oh, I see. There's nothing weird about this to me.
The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night. But I've never known a Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning.
Maybe the time difference is still messing with him? Could you clarify something, I wonder?
What, pray?
How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine?
Oh!
I understand that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house, is that correct?
That's right, yes. They're both below us, on the first floor on street level.
Then, how is it you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times they come back in the evening, for example? Even the times they go to bed? Oh, she's gonna interrupt everyone again. Good grief, Joan, big mouth camera woman!
Oh my goodness, sir, I'm terribly sorry.
She's doing that on purpose, I think, now. Something doesn't add up here. Yeah, she's doing this on purpose, I think. Yep. It seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out the window at around that time? The window? We noticed that the window over there looks, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garadeb household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan?
No, sir, it would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see another side of the road.
Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then? Such as? Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Well, yes, was there something then? Well, there's nothing particularly significant, but around the sort of time. Oh, she's hiding something! She's hiding something! For the love of God, Joan, what you doing? My neighbors are gonna think I'm actually shouting at a lady named Joan.
Oh, dearie me. What have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir.
Do be more careful, woman. Calm down the way you're using the word woman, sir. Calm that down. How about that?
If I may, Mr. Narrowhollow.
That's how you pronounce it. Okay.
I have exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all.
Oh, really? Mr. Garadeb? The way you were talking before sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, don't do it again! You fool! You fool! He's going to die! Don't dash it all! What is the matter with you, woman?
Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened.
She's speaking for him as well. Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan?
That's right, Mr. Garadeb.
It sounds like something happened here in this room, even in the evening of the incident, but what? I wish I knew. Mr. Natsumi's room. Oh, we have a lot to talk to these guys about. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsumi's room is on? Well, certainly, just below this, on the first floor. And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there even as we speak? Yes. Tell me the Nats's name. I'd asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key. Mr. Natsumi engaged in Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we also had a look around? In Mr. Natsumi's room, I mean? Don't see why not. It's just down the one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with this case, but we have to try. Well, we're gonna meet Mr. Sholmes anyway. We need all the clues we can lay out our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak to Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. Let's go. Really cool. Oh, there's a photo up here as well. That portrait of Mr. Garadeb is glaring at me, I swear! Ah! Have you noticed that the little frames contain photograph prints of Mr. Garadeb as well? Yes, and there seems to be a statue of a lion on the mantelpiece also. Ah, yes, seems to come back from the local pawnbroker with that little trinket. Seem to come back? What do you mean? The chap who runs the place is a ballet wizard. Went in to sell him something and came out with that thing. In point of fact, now I think about it, I rather often find myself leaving the place with something I don't need. The lion ornament certainly does seem surplus requirements. Susada doesn't pull her punches, or throws for that matter. Let's go then. We can move then to Mr. Natsumi's room. I'm excited to see this as well. We saw this in the image as well. Oh my god. Yeah, this is kind of weird, but like, there's cats here, so I trust them. There's a cat here. It's bricked up as well, the window. Bricked up. 19th February, Mr. Natsumi's room. What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty. Ugh. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me either. It's so dark in here too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think, yes, once upon a time. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar.
My salvation! Bricks and mortar! Come save me from the cold!
Great song. So this is where Mr. Natsumi lives. By the way, great, like a good band, but like their name means they can never be marketed ever, like properly. Like, and I think that's why they never got any bigger, is because like no one wants to market a band like called Cancer Bats. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone wants to market them properly. I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garrett told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Where? So we're going to examine the place, and he's going to be hiding somewhere, as he usually does. Let's examine this whole place. So he's going to be on this side of the room, so let's just explore here first. This little cat toy. I forget what they're called. Oh, look, it's a beckoning cat. Oh, beckoning cat. Okay. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsumi didn't bring the Maneke Neko all the way from Japan with him.
Nico, 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 ni.
I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruto. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it can be dangerous traveling aboard. I wanted the Lucky Charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsumi wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. It's not doing a very good job so far, is it? You mustn't say such things. I didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? We have the pile of books. Look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling. They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty. With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No, that's what a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe, for me at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. So reading is an experience that comes once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of the tea ceremony philosophy. We have this balled up pieces of tissue, of course, as well. Look at all these balls of paper on the floor. There are notes scrawled over them in English. It looks like the waste paper basket is so full they've just fallen out. I think Mr. Natsumi must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you think? Or deeply averse to tidying up his mess. I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth.
Oh my god, oh, come here, little baby.
Oh my god, it's stretching,
Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master's away? I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. Yeah, cats have designated hiding places that they go whenever they're kind of like nervous. It was a tricolor Mike, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsumi brought the little creature with him from Japan. That's made me feel homesick now. As it would. Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. I mean, that's a good enough time to get homesick still. The desk here as well. That desk seems to be wedged into a crevasse between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsumi would sit here and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Your books, And yes, Mr. Natsumi's name is on it. Look, and the date of the purchase. 2 days ago, 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in a terrible attack. He must have been here on his way back from buying some old books. The second-hand book receipt has been added to enter in the court record. So you have the bricked up window. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time after all. Although all that remains is the frame around with some bricks now. So really it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. Perhaps Mr. Natsumi painted the brick design on it in a fit of whimsy. That's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up here in a room like this. It would be extremely trying. Is there anything else we have to look at in this area? Because I think we're going to find Holmes Ah! Not even hiding. Not even hiding at all. Well, I guess kind of hiding, I guess.
Ah, look, Mr. Naruto.
It's our boy. Ah, there he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope you won't mind if you disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, there he is. Ah, you two, good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Burra.
Yes, of course, the Burra. And let me see. What happened on that voyage?
It was Kazuma Asagai. He died, tragically, but you were a great help to us.
Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asagai. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it?
Oh, well, you seem to remember something of it at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr.
Oh no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruto, perfect. And Mr. Susato, perfect. Wow, he's good. He's too good.
Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes.
I lose the first round. In truth, I'd hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes.
So they apprehended Sozeki-san in that short of amount of time?
I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled the recollection of my past involvements a little.
A little?
Is it a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls that can distend to any extent? I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words, the imitatable wisdom, you know, from the adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet.
Please, there's no need to quote yourself.
I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but unfortunately my associate pens them beautifully.
He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should only be too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. So I guess we can, let's converse. Mr. Natsumi's arrest.
We noticed to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road.
Natsume, yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines.
But Mr. Natsumi denies it. He was really just, was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little?
I'm sorry, Mr. Sato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
What? I can't believe he was looking Suzato squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance.
I assure you, I'm not merely a feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension.
Oh, how?
I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime.
But that doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's really weird. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I've quote verbatim.
We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene.
Ah, a man seen fleeing.
There were a number of books scattered on the pavement of the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? That's actually, like, very basic but very good detective work. Like, very, very good. Very, very good. He's the best. I believe there's a receipt around here somewhere. From the establishment in question.
So do you think Mr. Natsumi is the culprit then?
That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books I found myself quite lost in bibliography. That word. Do not be deceived into believing that I'm a man of leisure. No, no, no. Mr. Gardev, the landlord. Ah, tell me. Have you encountered the landlords of these lodgings?
Yes, Mr. Gardev, a retired military man. It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service.
I didn't think it was that funny. Oh, sorry, I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer.
Read as much. And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standings of those dwellings therein.
Betoken their social standings? Sorry?
Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class, those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary.
As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower class, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance.
Jesus, I hate classes. I hate that. I hate class systems so badly, though. I had no idea.
And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs, specifically in the retired army veteran Mr. John Garrity. Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am yet unable to ascertain. We thought he was hiding something too, so Sholmes, I think you're on the right track as well.
I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say.
No, I think he's on the right track. I think he is hiding something. I think he's hiding something. I think the maid is for sure hiding something as well, or maybe the maid is helping him hide something. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later.
Mr. Nasumi has stabbed no one.
But sooner or later, as I said.
I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window. Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's completely blocked with bricks.
Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Let me explain the window tax. Okay, so there was a tax on windows, so you had to pay money for every single window that you had, and some people would brick up their windows and close up their windows. There's a building called Kittler's Inn, which is a restaurant, and it used to belong to a woman who was accused of being a witch, Alice Kittler. She boarded up, or she bricked up all of her windows so she wouldn't have to pay the window tax.
Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on windows.
Precisely that. Oh my goodness. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly closed windows up. Yep. While the rich opened up windows here, there, and everywhere. In an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money.
How awful. And unjust. Forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light.
Indeed. Disease was rife as a result. So some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example.
Yeah, the tax also came over to Ireland as well. You Brits put over your tax here. I suppose Mr. Nasumi's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps.
It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price.
Because the room is so awful, I should think.
Apparently, Mr. Masumi only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of accommodation.
Oh?
Still, that is of little relevance here. A matter not worthy of further attention.
Are you sure? I'm curious now.
Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes.
Thank you, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, yes, Mr. Naruto. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remembered that, did you?
Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. On what grounds?
Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday.
Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly too.
I love that he's actually just a genuinely good person, and look how much he's actually interested in what we're saying, and congratulating us. Very nice of Sholmes. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients to trust their innocence?
Yes, trust.
Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Natsumi didn't do it, did he?
My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea.
Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate?
Yes, that was indeed my initial intention, but there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them.
Oh, I see.
Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to have seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. And one more thing.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes?
I love this man. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I'm quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something.
Mr. Garriday? Mr. Sholmes said much before, actually, didn't he? And we thought so too. We thought so too.
Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case.
Mr. Naruto, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help us establish Mr. Natsumi's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garriday's secret.
Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruto.
Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. I wish you all the success as well. I'm sure I'll see you at the trial. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his books in the corner of the room. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, so true. To be or not to be? That is indeed the question, Mr. Naruto.
To be or not to be brushed off, that's the question. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, he's reading. Let's leave Mr. Sholmes in peace, shall we? So do we go now? Because I feel like we've explored almost everything here. Or everything. Yeah, I think we've explored everything here. So we move to... back to Mr. Garriday's room, maybe? Yes. Yeah, perfect. 19th February, Mr. Garriday's room.
Ah, you pair again. Tell me, what was the detective chap? I forgot his name. Still hard at work down there?
Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
Ah yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid.
Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there.
Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan.
Be careful, Joan. Now then, why don't you...
For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're bloody well doing?
I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir.
Yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave if you be so kind.
Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance.
Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out?
Yeah, we could. Thank you for your time. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garriday was hiding something. And since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Like... here? This window looks over at Briar Road where the young woman was attacked. Oh yes, I can make out the policeman on the far side of the road investigating the crime scene. The glass is rather murky, isn't it? What is that over there? You can't see very clearly. Does the thing open at all, I wonder?
I shouldn't underestimate the bitterness of a London winter, sir.
Sorry?
As soon as you open that window, the tea will freeze in the pot. No Londoner would go opening windows in the dusk in the middle of winter, I assure you.
It seems very unlikely these two would have seen anything of the incident then. Yeah, I agree. So there's no... Oh, he's over here! Okay. I was like, what is that? It's like, okay, it's that. Let's talk to him. Ah, what is he doing over there? Mr. Sholmes? Aha! We meet again, my dear fellows. Not a moment too soon. I love talking to this guy. Good gracious, when did you sneak in here? Sherlock Sholmes, sir, at your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? I'm used to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner space by the window up here. Well, keeping an eye to one's window at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Ah, and one other thing, Mr. Naruto. Me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, is he not talking about, is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Let's go! Do you mean Mr. Sholmes? There's a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. So what do you see? I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruto? I think so. There's just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. Oh, he's gonna do it? Mr. Garrity, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly what one might call first rate. He's a landlord? I didn't think about this. I'm afraid, sir, that is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I've been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon? The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. There's also the eye, his black eye kind of thing, his shiner. And the second is that as a result of the beast's violence rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruto, look. The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on. How could you possibly? How could I possibly know? You mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of the beast. Yep! And I know too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Let's go. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Nature of the beast. It shouldn't take a great detective to see. Yeah, all the stuff that's broken apart. We didn't even see this. That a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus we are faced with the question, what form might the beast take? He's like, me? Ah, for a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garrity, leads us directly to the answer. Oh, he loves the glances, doesn't he? It was a lion? The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by the lion statue? What do you mean? Yes, there was an army man. You appeared unimposing at best. The fact has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this piffle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in its very house. Oh, look at the mark on his hand. Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of the wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Yet we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam, one of the cool things about this game compared to Phoenix Wright is that Phoenix Wright is like, it's very much a game of like 3 walls, right? And then the 4th wall is you. In this game, all 4 walls are occupied by characters. You know what I mean? Like, this is a real world. And like, I think that's probably like intentional. It's a little bit more immersive sometimes. Me?
I pray you do not consider me an unchivalrous, but it is plain to me that with one glance in your direction,
It is.
your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying line, Mr. Garday, at Batty's Circus. The traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I have observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe.
I most certainly did not.
I believe I've made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room is an Indian lion. That's pretty crazy though, right? And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion panting jubilantly through a ring of fire. Turn around, Big Top. A rampaging Asiatic lion. Really? Topic 2. Aftermath. Conclusion will be a lion. Now, Mr. Garrity. It is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you're being revealed by the supporting arm. Amidst fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage.
Nonsense, man. I simply...
But what we must now ask ourselves is the true cause of this pain. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you have no choice but to let it go. Yes, Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. The aftermath, which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, dearie me.
What caused such a destructive outburst?
Ah,
This time, madame, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wondering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need to look at the Tower of Cakes. The Tower of Cakes. There is no creature more dangerous on earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it or was it not said by a certain nobleman, if they had no bread, let them eat cake? Who was that? I always blanks my mind. Yeah, it was Marie Antoinette, the French in France. Yeah. Food is at the heart of all tragedy. In fact,
whatever do you mean?
having tired of all the taste of cakes, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with the lion, those of the lion I once saw in India. I don't know if this is, like, any of this is true. Like, really, like, I think we're going to have to figure this out. Carpet gnawed on by the starving lion. I'm not sure. This concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle.
tiresome. Very tiresome, right? Like, great, he's great, but it's tiresome. Oh, look, the mouth again, look at it. Ah, woman, what matter you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garrity. I'm afraid I didn't notice.
My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times too.
Oh.
Mr. Sholmes, so sorry to butt in, but could I make an observation?
Why, certainly, Mr. Naruto. What is it, again?
Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a line could have fit inside a room of this size?
Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense.
But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrity and his maid would have been hurt or worse.
That's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man had held his own against the beast using that large cannon.
Oh, come on, dude. I thought you said that they sold the line to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea.
Ah, my dear Mr. Sato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they're infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea.
Oh, what a glorious notion. A notion is what it is. Well then, Mr. Naruto, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling that was coming. A slight massage, that's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You can do it. A slight massage, yeah, we have to replace the basis of every single deduction. Excellent, I'm waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward. He calls us his partner. They were roommates. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe.
Let us start again. From the beginning. Of Herlock Sholmes, Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
Let's go. Come on, let's go. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Okay, let's read this as best we can now. So we have the same thing he's going to say. It certainly takes a great to see. If that fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late with these four walls. Thus we are faced with the question, what form might the beast take? Your furtive glance, Miss Garrett, leads us directly to the answer. He says the lion on the thing, but that was just a statue you bought from the thing, though. The lion statue. I really didn't see the lion thing coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Garrity's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok in this room. Yes, this is something of very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Garrity's gaze. He'll lead us to the true answer. Okay, so his gaze is up this way. What's this? What's in the photograph? What's this photograph? It appears to me it's Garrity's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. But how unfortunate, something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably not the best to dive too deeply here. Is it this? No, it couldn't be this, right? We can only look in this direction, that's the thing. These are shells for the cannon, are they? What strange place to keep them. Imagine they have some significance to Mr. Garrity from his time in the army. I guess, of course, he mentioned a battle to us before, didn't he? Do you remember? He said that they'd been shot in the knee. Perhaps it was one of these that hit him. If around this size it hit his knee, there'd be nothing left of it, or Mr. Garrity for that matter. Mr. Sholmes has a Persian slipper, and this man has spent shells. Perhaps in its customary in Britain display. Oh, maybe not though. Okay, so we have like a few, like it could be like his bride is the beast. His bride could be the beast. but I think it's probably more likely that. But then again, like I don't. These are always like very interesting to like. Can we change around the room? We can. So he's looking over in this direction. So we have the lion. We have the shells. I don't know, like I feel like it could have been the shells. It could have been said that like he damaged, I don't know, he damaged the shells. I don't know. But I think if the shells, should we like, the only other thing is then is the photo. So should we present the photo then? That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Photographic frame. Because I'm employing a extremely advanced technology called jumping conclusions, you see. Wait, what? Oh, well, it's supposed to be a logic and reasons practice, so I thought it'd come to... Okay. Can't you perform any particular... Oh, no, so we can't... Wait. So, like... Hold on a second here. So we looked at the... Wait, hold on a second. Is that in our... Because, like, we can't examine it anymore. Right? Oh, we can... Okay. The glass is broken, so you can see the bride's face at all. But no amount of cracks will hide the woman's plump form. I think it's powerful. It would be kinder than plump. Narissa Naruto. Yeah. She certainly looks like that. There's a lot of horsepower there. Not something you want to upset, that's for sure. Oh, look. Have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yes, that's an unusual design. It looks like some sort of embellished sunflower. So do we present this then? Is that gonna work? It did. Okay, newlywed bride. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruto. No other explanation could possibly fit. You're gonna have to explain this to me as well, though. This frame print pictures of your wife, Mr. Garabdeeb. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Oh, indeed, surely. Wait! That's not his maid, is it? That's not his maid. Honor might be stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast which so clearly savaged this room was your wife, Mr. Garrity. Look at the handprint as well. The climbing traces of wild rampage are still very much evident. Well, as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? She's there! Because then that makes sense what they're talking about earlier with the one maid per household. Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is. Your dress pocket gives us handsome clues as to the beast's current whereabouts. So again, we can't go with the circus anymore. The circus is not a thing anymore. That's not something we should even like talk about. The poor fragile defenseless woman and the beast is beside herself. I don't know about fragile. Oh dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There is no sign of Mrs. Garrity anywhere, Mrs. Garrity. But it seems there may be a clue to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrity's wife could be. So we have to explore her, I'm guessing. Now, the first thing I'm going to look for is the ring. Yep.
Take that!
Yep. That's the first thing I'm going to look for. Your wedding ring, gives us a handsome clue to the beast's current whereabouts. Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown in the hand of Mr. Garrity's bride in the photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Garrity's lucky bride. You are Miss Garrity herself. My word.
Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly summarized, this is the wife. Yes, the wife, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say. Get him right now. There we go. It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are retired from the army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have an insufficient means to employ a maid, that would be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was 2nd Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man is his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford a single maid in his employ. Yes. Here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are folly. Yeah, Shones, base Shones. You mean Mr. Garrity has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garrity? Only in company, obviously, but listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret. Please! So we found it the first one. That's good. Now we have to deal with the second one. Now, Mr. Gardabe. It is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Of course. Indeed, that Blythe pose the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel is being revealed by the supporting arm. Mr. Jones is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garrity's wife a beast. Yeah. Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable. I mean, it depends on what you say, how you say it, you know? You know? But Mr. Garrity is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? I wouldn't speak about my wife like that, I'm just saying. What's that, honey? No, I was just saying that I wouldn't... No, I was just saying to the audience that I wouldn't speak about you like that. Okay, fuck off then. Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, you would, yeah. Yeah, fuck off. I'm joking. I don't have a I don't have a wife. I do not have a wife. So perhaps that supporting arm is seen to be propping up his head. Has some other significance then. According to Mr. Jones, the Garrity's pain is tangible though. What could that pose really signify? The mark on his face, right? Yep. Oh, he got smacked. I know, like if you're saying to your wife you let yourself go, no wonder you got smacked. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you've been feeling revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade was you, Madame Joan Garrity. Go on, Joan. Go on, Joan. Go on, Joan, you mad joke, yeah. Ah, Joan, yeah, go on, Joan. Type in the comment section, Joan is the best if you love Joan.
Calvin, you're supporting violence against people. Calvin? Oh, you wouldn't say this if you were slapping her. Calvin?
How about you, right? Go downstairs right now, or into the other room, whatever room you're in. Pick up like a few chocolate biscuits or cookies or something, get a glass of milk. Go upstairs with your blanket, lie on the bed, and just think about what you did, okay? I'll give you some time to yourself. Oh, no, not auto. The animations are so slick in this game. How the blazes. How did you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. Yeah, and interesting, now it's so weird to see him like this. To keep your outer sight from view. Well, now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? Have you heard the way he talks to her? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Garrity to fly into a rage. So she's looking over here at the money problems, but it might be something different then. Like the diary. Yes, there's a pile of bills that have given rise to the pain you suffer. Didn't Mr. Sholmes say that the bills were for lying fodder? Yes, but now we've established that lying never existed, which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garrity's wife. No, Mr. She's a person, not a thing. Yeah, what is up with people here, huh? Joan, slap him. Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. All I'm saying is about the whole slapping back to Joan thing, right? Is that whenever you bring up the equality between men and women, there's always those weirdos who are like, so I get to hit the girl? It's like, that's the first thing that came into your mind? I'm worried. I'm very worried that that's the first thing you thought about when you thought about equality. That's weird, right? Like, whenever you're like, I just think that, you know, men and women should be totally equal always. So I get to punch a woman? They always do that. It's so weird that they have that in their mind. Like, it's so weird. One so hard that left a perfect landmark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. So, it's this, right? So, it's a bookmark. Someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here. Mr. Garrity is clearly an avid reader. What does it say, though? Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh, no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Mary? Mm. And look next to the signature here. Lip marks made with lipstick. Ooh. And what a passionate and romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas, Susato-san. I love he's like, hey, like, wait, like, she can be romantic when she's older if she wants. Oh, dear, I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then. So we present the love note then, is what we're going to present. Look, to me, I'm just saying he seems like a very slappable person right now. He seems like a person that, like, being slapped seems, like, not natural to him almost. This love note has given rise to the pain you suffer. Yeah, there's a love note. Yeah. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note. A certain Miss Mary is the fly in the ointment here. Great expression. Fly in the ointment's a great expression to me. Oh my god! Get him, Joan. Get him. I don't know the bally woman. That's why you kept it in your book? You don't know her? That note was written wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? Pour the tea. Yeah, there we go. Get him. Get him. A likely story. Joan the Punisher. Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained at the time. They bought the book at the second-hand place and the note must have already been in there. So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark. Okay, if he didn't do it, then of course, like, I don't want him to be beaten up or whatever, but like, if he did do it, if he is cheating, give him a few slaps. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It was written into James. I know so many people are gonna be like, see, Calvin, he didn't do it and you jumped to conclusions. It's like, dude, shut up. Just shut up, like, and you know that, like, don't do a corrections for a correction's sake, dude. Never be that person. My name, in case you forgot it. A likely story. Are you questioning my name now? Joan is such a beast. And there we have it. Okay, I don't agree, by the way, before anyone says anything as well, I want to get this clear. I do not agree with violence when women abuse men either, because I think so many times it's brushed onto the carpet, right? It's clearly, in this case, it's a cartoon that's played for comedy. It's supposed to be funny. There's no one here talking about the actual abuse of the situation. Like, of course I wouldn't actually laugh at this in real life or think it was funny. I hope people realize that right now when I say this. I'm sure people have already brushed past and already commented something. But I just want to make that clear. It is usually brushed under the carpet a lot when it comes to abuse towards men. And it's never really talked about as much. And I hope that makes sense, what I'm saying. I'm not trying to make this into a joke. Of course I want to make that clear. Arouse the suspicion of a female heart and you unleash the beast with the most ferocious bite. I also think him saying you let yourself go to your wife is also like a pretty horrific thing to say. It can mess with their mind. In a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one less imaginable attack. Unimaginable? Maybe just let the candle fall, in which the animal is clearly seen by the observant carpet over here. A very expensive woolen carpet is not mistaken. Oh dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? It was fire, right? It was the candle. It burnt up. This time, madame, I'm afraid it was who has invented revealed the truth to me. Your wonder guy settled upon a very neatly. It's the candle she's looking at. Yeah, let's just go. Let's just go. Let's go. Let's just do this. Let's just do this. Candle, you say? But surely Miss Garrity didn't eat the carpet. No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray in this room is a result of her wild temper. No, that's true. So, this last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction that we need to fix. We only need to follow Mr. Garrity's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer. Alright, let's see what we can see. Yes.
Take that!
There we go. Yep, we said this from the start, actually, even. Yes, explain the dire state of the carpet. We need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give away the truth. Scorch marks? It would appear that this room has was a scene of the little martial altercation. Miss Garrity mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but in the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. In seconds, the carpet was alight, and the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes, for the most ferocious beast in the world, neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. You see, there is but one conclusion here. After the sparks of martial discord flew, the room was a scene of fire. Uh-oh. I salute you. Oh, jeez, you okay? Dude. Oh, she caught him. She's good. She's a good woman. If these dashed long winter nights you know nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop around the corner. Buy all my old novels there. Oh, sorry, he's saying this. But on the pages of one particular novel you discovered some rather illicit material, for which your wife has admonished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about admonish. Demolish might be rather closer to the mark, dude. Yeah, at this point. And beast is most certainly a dog. Yeah, dude, I wouldn't dig your grave deeper. Someone else dug the grave for you and you're just digging out the dirt with them. And the carpet was destroyed by the fire when a candle fell on the floor? Afraid to say it was. It happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. And I was caught between old sticks of rage and the raging flames. You paint a torrid picture, sir. And that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The ballet furniture started going up as well. We've had to hide the mess behind the screen for the time being. Over here, Mr. Gardape? Well, you have nothing more to hide now, and you'll allow me to... Yeah, you allow me. Well, I'm actually kind of really curious to see what's behind here. Whoa, that is a lot of damage. And it's actually like, you know, it's annoying damage too. It's not something you can just hide. You have to, unless you did what they did, but you know, you can't just hide it and also look at how beautiful the bookcase actually seemed to be beforehand. Had all my favorite old novels in the case, but as soon as the fire got hold of them,
that was whoosh, up in smoke.
I do feel bad for him because like he clearly didn't do it. It's clearly not even his name. And now his books are destroyed too. And the wife started hurling things at me.
What a terrible sight it must have been.
There was I, backed up against the window under a heavy enemy fire, incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is I lost my favorite book. Oh, The Lion's Pride. That's actually really sad that he's losing all his favorite books as well. It's not nice. It's not nice. I apologize for laughing, sir. The Lion's Pride? Ah, yes. Your notorious love of big cats coming through again. I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest.
So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of Ferocious Beast's rampage. That's actually really sad. Mr. Sholmes' deductions turned out to be correct once again. It can only be described as the Great British Wonder.
I tell you, it was the total carnage. Flames everywhere and the old stick in the full kettle.
Out of interest, what time of day was it?
Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see, around 5 o'clock, I think.
So at exactly the same time as the terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below.
Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The old blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I would have noticed a dashed thing.
Oh, really? Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, Miss Narada, what can I do for you?
Well, I think we got to the bottom of the Guardian situation now, but what does this have to do with Miss Natsume's circumstances?
I can't help you there.
Okay. What?
My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man had been hiding something, I couldn't be sure whether it was a secret to prove it would be of relevance or not.
I just knew you were going to say that.
Now, Mr. Ernie, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories, those relevant to the case and those not.
That makes no sense to me.
Well, no matter. It is of greater importance that you make up your mind now.
Sorry?
Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over.
Oh, no, is that time already? If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have to the official paperwork to attend to. So that's it, no more time to think.
Perhaps you would like to betake yourself to bidding us farewell now?
Yes, we would, Joan.
I must pay a supper for Mr. Garrity,
And just no more slapping him, okay? He's very weak. Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Okay, Joan? I understand you were upset, though. Thank you both very much for your time. So Seki-san will be waiting for us. And I'm going to give him an answer. Yes, we're going to say yes.
Prison!
Wait, what? Did I go to the wrong place? It's time, Mr. Nori. We must hurry back to the prison. Yes, I know. Let's hail a car... Oh. What's the matter? It looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garda's house. As soon as he left outside.
What?
Oh, he kinda cute. Kinda handsome. I know it's weird, but he kinda handsome.
I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers.
What is this guy?
Who you calling old man, you rum-looking nimmy pewee? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt in your philosophy.
Who's this Horatio fella? What are you on about?
Excuse me.
What the? Who are you now?
I'm sorry, I just looked as though there might be some problem here.
The design is so good, and my associate Mr. Rinosuke Naruto is a lawyer, you see.
A lawyer? What?
If I can be any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I've studied English law.
Fine, I'll be on my way for today, but you mark my words. It ain't over yet.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you? Oh my god, who is this guy? Holy hell. Cutest character so far. Cuter than even Asagai. I do hope you're not injured.
Fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Thank you.
What was all that about?
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt in your philosophy.
I'm not a ratio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here? I just love the designs in this game. I love them to death. Like, just absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't know, like, I'm just trying to, like, bask in this freaking glory.
Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do well.
Oh, and sorry, by the way, like, if you're wondering, some people might not know, it's Hamlet, by the way, is the, yeah, Hamlet. Yeah. Mr. Gardy mentioned that he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Oh, this is another lodger? Oh, this might actually help us. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? I actually did my, dissertation on Shakespeare, actually. Which is actually maybe a little tidbit. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor?
Ah, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. A more worthy polemist in my battle of words near could be.
Sorry, battle did you say?
Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night.
I think Macbeth could kill Hamlet. I see. Macbeth is more weak of the mind, I think, though. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and Mrs. Gentleman are acquaintances at least.
So, fair maiden, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well.
Wait, kiss. I mean, help. I don't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. It seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With Soseki-san and the man as lodgers, the Gardy house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go find a carriage. We're not going to talk to that boy a bit more? I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly waiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Interesting, like, little side step there. I think we're going to see him again. 19th of February, 6:31 p.m. Local prison, cell 9. Soul Eater Eyes. Oh, it's you! You're here! You came! Locum Student Mr. Naruto Esquire. I can't believe you came back! I'm so touched!
We are so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, no, think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing, Nipponese.
Oh no, let's not get carried away.
Oh, I quite agree. There's nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's own native land. On the other hand, oh, it's Mr. Shobes! It is through friendship transcending international borders that only one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. Oh, it is, yes. It's you. The miserable rotten spy. Herlock Sholmes. I love he does a pose when he's like, yeah, that's me. What about it? What are you gonna do? Yeah, would ya?
What are you doing here?
I've no intention of doing anything per se. Save observing, of course.
What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is a superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny. How dare you, Herlock Sholmes? I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to the Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings.
No doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruto? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean.
And there is much truth in Mr. Masashi's words.
What?
Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say, for the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial.
What's that supposed to mean?
So we can converse with him again, I'm guessing. We have a few things to talk about the cursed trial.
Mr. Natsumi, what did you mean by that, what you just said now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed? Oh no, why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I was just getting carried away, that's all.
Carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it.
Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial is cursed somehow?
Are you referring to the prosecutor? The Reaper of the Bailey?
It's so cool how he's like called at a decision, like he's actually like instilling fear in us.
The Reaper? No, what do you mean? Please tell me, summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words.
No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution, ever.
Oh my goodness, that can't really be true. That was 16 words, exactly.
Yesterday, Mr. Naruto successfully defending someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGill did.
What? What?
Ah, I'm impressed, Mr. Sato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord's Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zieks killed the man himself. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely?
You have some wonderful notions.
Sorry?
The man isn't a mass murderer, he's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow.
Oh, yes. Why, of course he is.
Of course he is. Then why are you trying to scare me?
It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? The Reaper. Okay, let's talk about the Reaper.
Van Zieks is quite an exceptional man. However, in London courts of law,
exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception.
That's right. That's good.
So Seki-san looks like he's going to cry of tears of joy. Oh man, this poor dude.
Are you no doubt aware in British criminal trial there is both a judge and a jury? The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion is particular and somewhat easily manipulated.
Right.
Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage, by any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling impostors as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail.
We've seen that, yeah? But it means the wrong verdict can be passed.
And sadly, it is from time to time, my dear madam, it is simply the reality of the situation.
And that's alright?
However, those indicted by Lord Van Zieks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed.
Oh my.
Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear, but how? Not all. I bear all manners of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by raging fever. Perhaps attacked by a highwayman.
Oh, no, no, no.
All examples of the reality events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruto. I knew it. I'm dead. A dodo. Done for. Doomed.
This would make you nervous. It would indeed make you nervous. And the cursed lodgings? Let's talk about the cursed lodgings as well. We're going to try and defend you, though. When you said the cursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Gardieb's house, I assume? Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to... A year? Oh, God. Sorry. Okay, I thought it was like 2 weeks. It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. But I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. But I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice a strange feeling in myself. That didn't take long then. Sorry, there was a car outside. I thought it was someone I knew coming up, and I was like, oh God, it's bad time to come up, guys. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room, but even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away.
You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homelands for such a long time.
I had to move from a number of times, most recently to that room on Briar Road a week ago now.
Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient.
The rent is cheap, I have so little money it appealed to me straight away. So of course I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late. So I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it. But if not, don't mention it in the first place."
Yes, well said. The music's great here too.
But it was true. It was all true.
You mean the room really is cursed then?
Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits.
Okay, dude. That's not working for you. I'm telling you that right now.
You need to stop that right now, buddy.
If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it his or her heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all?
We'll do it. To believe. Yes, to believe.
Just accept it. Sometimes in this game they could cut out half the dialogue. Just accept the case.
Mr. Sholmes? Me, Mr. Order, pray what can I do for you? Is it about the case in the SS Bureau, if you recall?
The Buddha. The Buddha. Ah yes, the one with the snake.
Well, yes. At the time, I was a suspect. You believed in me and listened to my side of the story. Great. Great reasoning. And you helped us to investigate.
I did I? Interesting.
What I want to know is why? Why did you believe in me?
I see, yes, you mean... because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim locked in a locked room?
Well, if you like, yes.
I'm not surprised that answer requires an explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it.
Man, he's such a good dude. I could have been lying.
Sure, you must have had your doubts.
You might have suspected me a little.
I think perhaps you misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor that which you were telling me.
What?
You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in.
What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
I make up my own mind about what is believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned.
But I could have betrayed your trust.
In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse in my opinion.
Meaning?
Whether or not one should trust another is the final analysis down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right. He's right. Locum student. Oh yeah, look, he's right. He's right. I'll trust you. I can do it.
Whether or not I can believe myself.
My boy! My boy! A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client.
And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself.
Yes. Yes. My throat is so sore. I've been doing too many voices for 2 hours straight. For like 4 days in a row.
Thank God it's the last day. I'm not saying thank God because I didn't enjoy this, but like my voice is nearly gone. And I don't know what I'm going to do if my voice is gone by when I'm returning to school, going to work in school on Monday.
You're so right, Kazuma. Well, my dear fellows, is it time we're leaving, I believe? Already? Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Sure. You coming too, Suzeki? Natsume? Oh dear, there's never enough time, is there? No. Mr. Natsume, if you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. Look, I'm shooting Mr. Naruto Esquire. That's such a great moment. The way he just says it, hey, would you like it? Like, that's so cool. As I said, I only experienced British quorum for the first time yesterday. Like, this is so good! And although the man was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in, the defendant, justice, or the truth. How to believe even. But I think I've finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruto. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student, Mr. Naruto Esquire. I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end. With every weapon available to me. Oh, Ryunosuke. That is, you have so much Kazama in you. Like, you had a lot of Kazama in you before when you were back in Japan, but you've, like, a lot of his spirit in you now. So I hope you permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to trust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue.
How cool is it that this man is like, he just wanted anyone to listen to him for the full year that he was here, and now it's kind of represented with like someone actually listening to his like in his more dire moments. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruto, that your mind was in many ways made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Mr. Zato, yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in the court? Absolutely, of course she will. She's the best. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. Fist bump. Freaking awesome. Awesome way to do it. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Shones believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Soseki-san has no one, he's all alone, so it's my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all strength I can muster. And just like that, it's gonna be to be continued? Yes, it is. Very, really good chapter. My Thor is completely destroyed, but we're going to be continuing on. Tomorrow, we're going to be starting back into kind of regular-sized videos just because I have to prepare for going back to work. Thank you guys for all the support on all these videos, and thank you all so much for watching these videos. I know sometimes I'm like, hey, the pacing's really weird, because it is weird sometimes. Sometimes you cut out half the dialogue, but that was a really cool moment at the end. I will see you all very, very soon.